Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And I ran in as the police were there, getting there, kind of alongside. It was just chaos. Then just started helping kids out, saw a lot of injured kids.
The lives that were lost is too much. One is too much. And it's not okay.
On the first week of school, a community is in mourning after a shooter opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden. 2 children were killed, 14 other kids and 3 adults were hurt. The shooting happened this morning at Annunciation Catholic School about 5 miles south of downtown Minneapolis. Students and parishioners were attending Mass inside the church. Tonight, a memorial is growing outside the school. You can see 2 wreaths set up for the 2 young lives lost. Tanner Holbrook from our sister station joins us live from Minneapolis now with more reaction and the latest on the investigation tonight. Tanner.
Hi, good evening, Brent. That's right. The 23-year-old Robin Westman has been identified as that gunman, according to investigators. And we're now learning that the alleged shooter in this situation, grew up in nearby Richfield, Minnesota. All of this as investigators are trying to piece together why he opened fire. It's just the first week of classes at Annunciation Catholic Church, and what was supposed to be a celebration service for the first week of school ended in a mass shooting, leaving the community around the school stunned.
First of all, was in shock. Second of all, started crying, obviously, as we saw the kids coming out on the news. All those families we all know.
Police say 2 children, 8 and 10 years old, were killed. 17 more were hurt, including 14 children. The shooter, police say, is 23-year-old Robin Westman. Police say he was killed from a gunshot wound, apparently taking his own life, and appeared to be acting alone. Frightening moments inside the school. 10-year-old Weston Halsney was there when he says he realized bullets were flying in through the windows from outside.
I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows, so they were the shots were right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something, then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head.
And Brent, we should mention to you, you mentioned that growing memorial outside the school. Just take a look at this right here at the corner of the street that I'm standing on. This in the last hour or so has really grown from just a couple of flowers and these balloons you see here to much more, to several candles. You see stuffed animals, you see flowers just out here as onlookers and those who are mourning this terrible, terrible tragedy are trying to make sense of all of this. Brent, I'll send it back to you. I'm reporting live in South Minneapolis tonight. Tanner Holbrook, Fox 61 News.
Another tragic day, Tanner. Thank you for that report. Back here in Connecticut, parents and lawmakers are also responding. Here's Fox 61's Stefan Reels with that reaction and how parents can discuss today's shooting with their kids.
The shooting in Minneapolis has sent shockwaves across the country. And here in Connecticut, we've already seen Governor Ned Lamont direct that flags be flown at half staff until the end of the month in honor of the victims.
The emotions, that's the first thing.
Words of wisdom from New Britain mother Maria Gonzalez as she reacts to the news of the shooting in Minneapolis that left 2 children dead and several more in the hospital.
I'm saddened, but I'm also just angry, disgusted. With kids going back to school, Congress coming back to Washington, D.C., there ought to be action.
The incident sparked major reaction from Senator Richard Blumenthal and other Connecticut lawmakers. Republican State Senator Stephen Harding called the action heartbreaking, horrific, pure evil. Meanwhile, Democrat Heron Gaston said the church should not be a place of violence. The church is meant to be a sanctuary, a place where faith, love, and community thrive, not a place where fear and violence should ever enter.
And this person who committed this horrific crime identified in a way where there's going to be a lot of strong opinions about why this happened. That is not a place to talk about with a child.
Aaron Boxer with Diversified Education Services tells Fox 61, as parents learn about the news, the best thing to do is process their feelings first, then create a comfortable environment for their child if it comes up in a conversation.
Let them know it's okay to be scared or sad, and then respond in age-appropriate language. For younger kids, reassure them that schools are safe, churches are safe, adults are there to protect them. For the older kids, talk more about resilience, but also it's important, keep the routines normal. Kids feel safer when life feels steady.
We've also seen reaction from local police departments. Berlin police said that they would increase their presence around both churches and schools in order to increase visibility and offer some reassurance to the community. In Hartford, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
Stephen, thanks. And you'll find more coverage of today's deadly shooting on our free Fox 61 app. Use the QR code on your screen to download it or go to fox61.com 24/7. Bus drivers in multiple school districts could go on strike if an agreement is not reached with the union. Fox 61's Tim Latow has details on why it's taking so long to negotiate this next contract.
The school year gets underway Wednesday here in Cromwell and in Middletown, but the buses might come to a screeching halt in about a month. This comes after a summer of negotiations between the bus driver union and bus company DATCO hasn't resulted in any progress.
We are hopeful currently that negotiations will keep progressing. But again, we are prepared to take any action we need.
Cromwell and Middletown public school bus drivers and monitors now say they are ready to go on strike. Union members voted unanimously on Monday to strike if a negotiation with bus company DATCO is not reached by September 30th. They aren't the only ones. Brian Chong with Teamsters Union Local 671 says they are still negotiating contracts in Bloomfield and East Hartford. Union members in East Hartford were strongly opposed to the contract offered last week.
They did not feel like it was good enough. Our union didn't feel like it was good enough. So with an overwhelming margin of 96%, our school bus drivers there voted to reject the contract, to send it back to the bargaining table.
While Coventry, Windsor, and Hebron bus drivers are under contract, they will join in on the picketing if any of the other districts are stuck without a contract by the end of September.
If our Teamsters choose to strike at any of the DATCO bus yards, we will be extending the picket line to all DATCO bus yards that we represent.
Much of the disagreement stems from health insurance. The union wants drivers to be on union health care rather than state health care immediately. But union members claim DATCO wants to roll it out over the course of years, starting in January 2028.
They want to restrict access to union health insurance to only 5 drivers with the most seniority for the first 2 years of the contract. We think this is unacceptable.
Chong says unless competitive wages and benefits are put into a contract, the bus driver shortage will only get worse.
Without good contracts, with good benefits, we cannot retain drivers. And without being able to retain drivers, our students and parents will not get the services that they deserve.
We reached out to DATCO Bus Company, but have not heard back. In Cromwell, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Now, people in Simsbury are sounding the alarm about e-bikes as more riders are getting hurt. At a community meeting tonight, a local bike shop owner stressed the need for safety gear and for riders to really understand how these powerful bikes work. Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot has that story.
We all remember how fun it is riding bikes, whether alone or with friends, and just how much fun it could be. But experts say it's important to practice safety habits like wearing a helmet.
Officials at Connecticut Children's Hospital say e-bike injuries are rising, and they aren't the only ones noticing the increase. Walter Rochford owns a bicycle seller in Simsbury. He says 6 out of every 10 bikes he sells are e-bikes.
Parents especially need to be on top of their game, because you got a 13-year-old child, a 14-year-old child, and they put them on a bike that weighs 85 pounds, that goes over 30 miles an hour. I mean, I'm sorry, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing here.
Rochford, along with other community partners, hosted a meeting Wednesday to discuss the importance of bike safety.
Bicycle accidents in Connecticut are up 350% this year alone. Now, of all the vehicles, motorcycles, automobiles, ATVs, all of those accident numbers are down this year. The only numbers that are up are bicycles. That's both standard bicycles and e-bikes.
Those who attended discussed the laws surrounding e-bikes along with helmet safety and what police officers can do to keep bicyclists safe.
We can help with education pieces. So whether that is, stopping a bicyclist, having a conversation with them, with their parents, social media, putting things together and putting it out, a attending, functions like this and meetings like this to show that, hey, we think this is important as well.
When it comes to basic safety reminders, Rochford says getting a helmet should be number one.
Number two would be aware of your environment. Three would be just to do a little bit of a safety check on your bike before you leave to make sure everything's working the way it should be.
He also says it's important to do your homework and research.
Shop local, because we scrutinize the bike. We have about 30 things that we check before that bike goes out to shop.
Rochford tells me it's important to buy e-bikes locally so you can get them properly checked out by a bike mechanic. In Simsbury, Cape Hattie-Foot, Fox 61.
And speaking of e-bikes, an Ansonia teen is in custody after police say he stole another teen's e-bike at gunpoint. Officers quickly recovered the bike and tracked the suspect to a car on Sunset Drive. The 17-year-old was arrested. Police say they found a loaded gun and narcotics. Two other people in the car, Sheldon Haley from Ansonia and Kylan Sanders from West Haven, were also arrested on drug charges. Police think one more teen was involved in the robbery, and they are working on arresting them. A jury in New Britain has found an Enfield man guilty in a 2024 sexual assault case. Prosecutors say Jeremy Figueroa Garena attacked a woman at a Southington motel, then assaulted and restrained her in his car on the highway. He also violated a protective order. Sentencing is scheduled for December 16th.